Hey, how's it going? I'm Noah Kain from Noah Kain Consulting. We help e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands show up on Google using SEO. Today we're going to talk about bridging the gap between traditional SEO and the new AI search tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. for your brand. So, obviously this is a big dilemma, right? Do you keep investing in SEO, traditional SEO, or do you shift that investment into AI search? And I get where the uncertainty comes from, right? You don't want to get this wrong. If you're not, AI search is definitely a thing that's growing. So if you're not going to show up in there, that's bad for your brand, especially if people start to shift over to those tools. But you also might be missing out on tons of traditional SEO opportunity if you cut off the traditional SEO investment you've been making as well in the past. Now, the data on all this is really interesting. So currently, Google still sends 400 times as much organic traffic to websites compared to what ChatGPT or Perplexity does. But on the flip side, those platforms, the AI search platforms, convert at 5 times the rate, right? So while you might only be getting 100 people visiting, 200 people visiting here or there from AI search, 5 times as many of those as would convert from your Google search are converting on the AI side. But the volume still isn't there, right? So you're likely still getting way more traffic, way more revenue, right? But the conversion rate there is really great, right? Because the intent is definitely higher, at least as of right now, as of today. So today's e-commerce SEO landscape has changed a lot, especially over the past few years, but definitely compared to 10 years ago, right? There's the organic results and obviously the paid elements of what's going on. And what's happened is the search engine result pages, right? When you go to Google and you type something in, that has gotten really crowded, right? There are your traditional, 10 blue links that you have. There are the shopping feeds, which produce organic shopping feed results in a few different ways. There's the popular products, there's the brands you might want to consider, and so forth. And obviously, there's also the paid shopping ads that come through your product feed as well. The paid search ads. There could be video elements that are showing up, image results that are being pulled in, and so forth. So there's a lot more going on than just those 10 blue links. And you really do need to be working with an SEO agency that can help you capture as much of that SEO real estate as possible in order for your brand to be considered and eventually win out on new customers. Now, AI search is a little bit different than, I shouldn't say a little bit, it's very different than traditional Google search, right? So the way people interact with ChatGPT, for instance, right? They use longer, more natural language prompts. It might be, the way you can think about how you might ask a question to a friend, right? Whereas on Google, you might just type in leather bags or the specific thing you want. ChatGPT, you're gonna kind of talk to it, right? You might have multiple prompts that you enter to have a whole conversation with ChatGPT. And then at the end of that conversation, you might say, cool, can you find me some brands that fit the description of what I was asking about, right? So if someone says, oh, I saw this bag someone was wearing, it was on this show, I don't really know what it is. And then you start giving it details, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you wanted this type of bag, and do you want to see some brands that sell that product, right? And that's kind of how the chat experience goes currently. Now, the way AI search gets its data is also an important thing to understand, right? So there's the training data it uses, right? Where there is a set of data, a set of information that is already built in, right? So the AI has been trained already. Obviously, this does get updated, but it has been trained on data, and that data just exists, right? And then there's the prompt that someone is putting in, right? Which is the question, right? So it's, hey, I was looking to purchase X, Y, and Z. I'm interested in this type of thing, and so on, right? And then there's, how the AI is trained to respond to that prompt. And then when it needs to, it will also source citations, which means it might actually go to the web and look for web results that will help answer the question, right? And provide more data. Because in some cases, it's data that's already trained on, right? So that pre-trained data doesn't have the answer, so it needs to go get more data, which are those citations it gets, from the web. Now, a really big concept you need to understand here is there are things with AI search that you can and cannot influence, right? So the things we cannot influence, right? We can't influence the training data that's already been put in place, right? The data already exists. The AI's already been trained on it. It is what it is. The user prompts and how they converse with ChatGPT, right? I can't control what someone enters into ChatGPT. Everyone's going to speak to it differently. There's no way to control for that. And then obviously just how the AI works in general, right? How it responds to the prompt and so forth. We also cannot control those things. Now, what we can control, there are a lot of traditional SEO functions that we can input, right? So those citations that ChatGPT or other AI tools are using to reference when they go get more data to help provide an answer, we can impact that through PR and SEO work and those types of things, right? Getting our brand elsewhere. Those brand mentions we can get are going to help ChatGPT find us when it needs to go find more information. And then obviously, if we are better optimized than we were yesterday, the next time there's a training data update, right, where the AI has been on a new set of training data, we can impact that future data set, right? Not the past one, but the future one, right? Next time it's trained, we can impact that. And obviously how we, deal with other kind of nerdy SEO things, right? Your structured data, accessibility, all of those. That's the stuff we can influence. So where do we go? How do we actually bridge this gap, right? You still need to invest in traditional SEO. And the reason is, as you stated earlier, 400 times as much traffic, right? So if you just cut the cord on traditional SEO and jump into let's focus on AI, you're definitely going to miss out. Secondly, ChatGPT uses Google to get its information, right? So if you're not on Google, if you're not showing up in the traditional sense with SEO, you're also probably not going to show up when it comes to ChatGPT, right? That's where we need to focus on authority building, which is, again, this is a lot of traditional PR, backlink building, etc. All those things matter. Your on-page SEO, right? Your structured data, all those things, right? The things we worry about with traditional SEO. That's the stuff you need to focus on. And then from there, we need to start using more tools to monitor how things are going, right? Right now, the tools that are out there are kind of limited when it comes to tracking your AI search success. But those will get better. And obviously, we can hop into Google Analytics to understand where traffic is coming from. We can see if it's coming from ChatGPT, how much of it, how much is converting, and so forth. So you just need to use your tools the best you can, and just monitor, how well is traditional SEO going, and then how well are we doing with our AI search traffic. So that kind of sums it up. Obviously, if you have any questions, please go to my website, workwithnoah.com. You can schedule a call with me there to discuss your SEO strategy, or to shoot me an email, noah@workwithnoah.com. Appreciate you watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.